The keeper's watch. The old lighthouse keeper found it on a Tuesday morning, half buried in the sand where the tide had left it. A pocket watch, silver and tarnished, its face cracked but still ticking. He should have left it there. Should have let the next wave take it back to wherever it came from. But old habits die hard, and Marcus Webb had spent 40 years pulling things from the sea. The watch felt heavier than it should in his calloused palm. The ticking was wrong somehow. Not irregular, but off rhythm, like a heartbeat that didn't quite match his own. He pocketed it anyway, climbed the spiral stairs to the lamp room, and set about his morning duties. That night, he wound the watch without thinking. 3 turns of the crown, smooth and deliberate. The moment he released it, the lighthouse groaned. Not the familiar settling of old stone, but something deeper, something that came from beneath. Marcus didn't sleep well. He dreamed of drowning, but not in water. In time itself, thick and viscous, pulling him backward through moments he'd already lived. When he woke, the watch sat on his nightstand, though he'd left it in his coat. It read 3:47. His alarm clock read 3:47, but the sun was already rising. The next day he noticed the gulls. They circled the lighthouse in patterns that repeated exactly every 17 minutes. The same cries, the same wing beats. When he walked down to the beach, he found his own footprints from yesterday still fresh in the sand, though the tide had come and gone twice. By the 3rd day, Marcus understood. The watch wasn't keeping time, it was making it. Each tick was a loop, a small circle drawn in the fabric of the world. And with every rotation of those tarnished hands, the circles grew tighter. He tried to destroy it, threw it against the rocks. The watch appeared in his pocket, still ticking. He buried it at low tide, found it on his breakfast table the next morning, sand still clinging to its chain. He even took a boat 3 miles out and dropped it into the deepest water he knew. It was waiting on his pillow that night. The loops began to shorten. Morning became afternoon, became morning again. Marcus lived the same Thursday 17 times, each iteration slightly compressed, slightly faster. He could feel time buckling around him, folding in on itself like paper in a fist. On the 43rd Thursday, he met the previous owner. The man stood at the base of the lighthouse, translucent in the morning fog. He wore a naval uniform from a century past, and his eyes held the same exhausted recognition that Marcus now felt in his bones. "How long?" Marcus asked. "I stopped counting at 1,000. The ghost's voice was thin as mist. "The watch chooses us, those who keep time. It wants us to understand." "Understand what?" "That we never really had it." The figure began to fade. "Time keeps us, keeper, not the other way around." Marcus looked down at the watch in his palm. In its cracked face, he saw countless reflections of himself, stretching backward and forward, all trapped in their own loops. All holding the same watch, all asking the same questions. He understood then. The watch didn't need to be destroyed. It needed to be kept. Someone had to hold it, to bear the weight of all these circles, these endlessly repeating moments. Someone had to stand at the center of the spiral and let time wind itself around them. The lighthouse keeper climbed his stairs for the first time. He placed the watch on the windowsill, where the light swept across it every 12 seconds. And he began his vigil. Now Marcus Webb keeps the watch, and the watch keeps time. And time keeps Marcus, turning and turning in an ever-narrowing gyre. A lighthouse beam sweeping across the same dark waters, forever and forever, and forever. But sometimes, on certain mornings when the fog rolls in thick, you can see him there, at the top of the tower, still tending the light, still keeping watch, still trapped in the moment between tick and tock, where all the lost time goes to die.